How are we doing, everybody? As promised earlier in the week, this is a look at some of the foods that we feed here at Wylde Shrimp. Obviously, it's some of the foods, not all of the foods, because we do feed Dr. Basilia, we do feed Evo, we do feed Discus Food, and we certainly feed NT Labs probiotic Cory pellets, because they are excellent. This is the stuff that takes a little bit more effort. It's not just in the cabinet under the tank. Yes, you could also say, where's your courgette, your butternut squash, where's your pumpkin? Well, the veg, okay, quick one on veg. You can either feed it raw, you can blanch it. I'm a fan of blanching it. Or if you don't want screw cumbers and stainless steel forks in all of your aquariums, what you can do is freeze it. Now, what freezing does is breaks the cell walls. It sort of breaches their structure. And then when you feed them later on, they should just sink. So the rapashis, we only feed 3 rapashis. Bottom scratcher, this one here, which is brilliant for your slightly more carnivorous fish. Grub pie, which is a great sort of all-round community type thing. It's insect-based, and most fish will take an insect. And morning wood, which we feed to anything that is slightly more on the herbivorous side. So we feed that to our reticulated hillstream loaches, we feed that to Sterosoma aureums, L10As, red ancistrus, Wabber mustards, 183s, anything that likes a bit of green, we feed that. Obviously, we feed our very own breeder's green alongside that, but that doesn't really deserve a place here because that is easy and convenient and can be stored under your cabinet. So frozen foods. These should look familiar to you. This is TMC, Tropical Marine Center Gamma. It's my personal favorite that is easily available here in the UK. Got some nice ones, so they're not all ripped and stuff. So this is the best time to ever do this video. Otherwise it'll be just torn across there and you won't be able to see what it is. But why do we feed these? It's quite an array. Prawns, these boys. They're not whole prawns, they're chopped prawns. They say finely chopped. I wouldn't say that was finely chopped. If you chop garlic like that for me, yeah. Why do we like prawns? We feed the Gamma chopped prawn. We also feed frozen king tigers. Because it's more of a natural behavior for plecos to feed on. They're great source of B12. They're full of selenium. And prawns, much like cyclops, are a complete protein. Now, if you watch the video, not another brine shrimp video, where we talked about are brine shrimp really such a great source of protein, you will know what a complete protein is and why it's important. Mussels. These are whole mussels. Well, that happened. Of course it did. These are whole mussels. You can get these from a lot of other sources. I like them from TMC because they're gamma irradiated, means there's no pests or baddies in there. Mussels, why do I like mussels? Whole mussels. You can buy chopped mussels in this form from TMC, but whole mussels, especially with the zebras and the 236s and the other hypans, even the 264, the Sultan pleco, loves a whole mussel. It's a natural behavior to rasp on this chunk. The smell of mussels is pungent, so it's a great attractant. So if you've got a shy hypan that is new to the tank, whole mussels is a great way to bring them out and get them feeding. They are very high in protein. And for a carnivorous type animal, protein is pretty important, but it's meat-based protein. You do need to be a little bit careful with mussels. They are one of the mollusks or invertebrates that have something in them called thiaminase. Now, thiaminase is an enzyme that destroys vitamin B1 in the fish that is eating it. It also doesn't contain any vitamin B1. So if you feed nothing but food such as that, you will end up with a vitamin B1 deficient animal. There are ways around it. You can boil them. Boiling basically renders the thiaminase enzyme redundant. So although your fish will not have its current stock of B1 destroyed, it's still not gaining any. So it's very important that you incorporate mussels into a very round and varied diet. Cyclops, we spoke about this in not another brine shrimp video. It is again a complete source of protein. I'd appreciate it if you went back and watched that video. No, it's not fun or entertaining, but it is factual and you will learn something. So a complete protein means that they contain all 9 essential amino acids. Okay? Ask any bodybuilder or strength trainer, like I used to do. That is important. Copepods, these guys. We feed those because they are very, very similarly nutrition-wise to Cyclops. Now there's a slight variation in the size between the Cyclops and these guys. So that's why we carry both of those. Ease of feeding, different sizes. Same as the difference in the sizes of Artemia, Norplii, baby brine shrimp that you can get. And yes, we do actually feed brine shrimp. It's not very often that we feed, certainly adult Artemia, but this one has garlic. What I find is that if I am buying a new fish from somebody else, other people tend to feed brine shrimp a lot. So it is a good way to get that fish to eat before I move it on to a better nutritional profile. Now, these have been enriched with garlic, which is an attractant. It's also very good for the immune system. But we always carry twice as much omega-3 enriched. And if you go back and watch the video, not another brine shrimp video, you will understand why that is important. And that basically brings us down to red plankton. Plankton, well, it's not a word that's thrown around the freshwater hobby too much. But plankton is basically, it's just really, really, really tiny stuff. There's a difference between phytoplankton and zooplankton. Zooplankton are animals, phytoplankton is like algae and stuff. This stuff is very, very small. One of the most nutritional foods in the ocean. So if you can, start feeding this to your fry. You will see a difference, I promise you. So that is what we feed, amongst a lot of other stuff. There's a huge range of Dr. Basilia in that fish room, because as an overall dry prepared food, I don't think there's anything that beats that. I know people are screaming, Ebo, Ebo. Yes, Ebo pastes are fantastic, and their soft grands are brilliant for younger Hypancistrus, where there is always a risk of choking. You will notice a distinct lack of bloodworms. Sorry, I'm not having a pee, by the way. I'm making a coffee. See, hands. Do the finger fandango. Yes, bloodworms. I'm not keeping fish simple. Oh my gosh, bloodworms are horrendous food. They're fantastic food. And whilst they are good for the larger, more adult hypans, coffee's ready. Mussels are better. And also, juveniles do not choke on whole mussels, which is a thing that can happen. There's a lot of scaremongering about it. Oh, they'll choke on the bloodworm. It's happened to me twice. 2 individuals choked on a very small bloodworm in, I don't know, 15, 16 years of zebra pleco keeping, breeding. So there we go. That is what we keep ready on hand. And that's what we feed. And those are the reasons why. Everything has its place. Everything has a legit reason to feed it. I hope that helps some of you.